So today we're doing a deep dive into what has to be one of the most structurally unique relationships in modern geopolitics.
Absolutely. We're talking about France and China.
Right. It's often called the third way. And at its core, it's this, shared idea of pushing back.
Pushing back against being forced into, well, a unipolar world.
Exactly. And the sources we've been looking at break this down into three foundational pillars. You've got cognitive intimacy, technological sovereignty, and strategic multipolarity.
And what's so fascinating is where it all begins. It's not trade. It's not military pacts.
No, it's mathematicians.
Right. Mathematicians. In 1685, Louis XIV sends these royal mathematicians, who are actually Jesuits, to the king court.
And that move just sets the paradigm right there. It's engagement based on utility, on science, not conquest.
It's about being useful. And that leads to this almost foundational myth, you could say.
The story from 1693 with the emperor.
Yes. The French Jesuits cure the Kangui emperor of malaria. They use quinine.
And that one act, it cements their status completely. He grants them land for the Beijing church. It's a physical symbol of French favor, right there next to the seat of power.
It is. It establishes this idea that France's value comes from its intellect, from its savants. And that creates a channel that stays open for centuries.
Which brings us right to the first pillar, that cognitive intimacy, but in the modern era.
We have to jump forward a bit to the early 20th century, the work-study movement.
Between, 1919 and 1925, this is where the future architects of modern China are learning their craft.
But not in universities. They're in French factories, in places like Montargis. They're learning about capitalism, about organization from the ground up.
And the best example has to be Deng Xiaoping.
Oh, absolutely. He was a welder at the Hutchinson rubber factory, but it's his nickname in the Paris underground that tells you everything.
He wasn't some grand theorist. He was the doctor of mimeograph.
The doctor of mimeograph. Think about that. He was the practical guy, the one actually printing the newsletters.
Yeah. That focus on results over rhetoric. You can see how that was forged right there in France.
So that personal cognitive link translates directly into the second pillar, technological sovereignty.
And this just explodes onto the world stage in 1964.
The diplomatic nuclear explosion, as it was called.
Right. De Gaulle makes France the very first major Western power to recognize the People's Republic of China.
And that was such a profound declaration of sovereignty. De Gaulle was essentially saying, we decide our own allies. We determine our own path, not Washington.
And the concrete proof of that trust came with nuclear energy.
Yes. France supplied the M310 reactor technology for the Daya Bay nuclear power plant. That's late 80s, early 90s.
It sets a French standard. And what's crucial is that the sources say this cooperation didn't even stop after the Tiananmen events in 1989.
Which sent a huge signal. France was the reliable, non-ideological partner. And that trust in science, it continues today.
In fundamental research, what they call blue science.
Exactly. You see French labs as key partners in the JUNO project, the Neutrino Observatory. It's a massive facility, 700 meters underground. It's a diplomatic anchor.
Okay, so that brings us to the present-day stress test.
The 2025 flashpoint.
You have the EU, rightly or wrongly, putting tariffs on Chinese EVs to protect its industry.
And then you get China's retaliation.
Yeah.
And it's so targeted, it is brilliant and, brutal.
They don't go after German cars or something obvious. They go after French brandy and cognac.
They hit a symbol of French agricultural heritage. It's a direct clash between industrial rivalry and that deep-seated cognitive intimacy. Puts immense pressure on Macron.
So is this third way just a nice story, or is it real?
Well, Macron is trying to prove it's real. He's positioning France as a stabilizing power.
And the most likely outcome, looking towards 2030, is compartmentalization.
Yes. You fight over the tariffs, you argue about EVs, but you rigorously cooperate on things like climate, on science, on global stability.
So when you zoom out, the whole relationship is really defined by this refusal to accept a binary choice.
It is. In 1685, it was refusing the Portuguese trade monopoly. In 1964, refusing the Cold War binary.
And today, it's refusing the new Cold War.
Precisely. Which brings us to the final thought, the long-term hedge.
Because despite all the friction over trade, the real investment isn't in EVs or cognac, it's in people.
It's in human capital. There's this mutual goal of getting 10,000 French students studying in China.
It's a way to sustain that third way beyond the day-to-day politics.
It's a direct line back to Montargis, to that original intellectual bond, building a human infrastructure of shared experience for the future.